Hey, Internets! It's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Legion, Season 2, Episode 9, entitled Chapter 17. Okay. So, I think it was just last week I was kind of lamenting the fact that, who they really haven't focused on much? Melanie.
Thanks a lot.
I got what I asked for. A Melanie show. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you knew this, Paul. Melanie is depressed.
Ah.
I know that was a subtle. There's a subtle little dig in there. You can, if you look carefully enough,
Yes.
you can tell that she's depressed.
Yes.
That Oliver's been away for so long. I don't know. And did you catch that? Okay. All right.
I mean, it seemed like they spent an episode trying to prepare us for her behavior in the subsequent episodes.
Good call.
So it's like...
Because she's betraying
do
D3.
anything.
She's betraying the
Yeah.
group.
Now, she's doing it for Oliver. But she should be as aware of anybody else that Oliver is being affected by the Shadow King.
Right, which is why they throw in the drug use thing. So it's like, she's not of quite right mind.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Also, she does bring up the statement we've mentioned since episode 1, season 1. It's all in your head. She contemplates.
And here's the
is
thing.
this whole thing all in our head?
And here's the thing, actually. Now it tells you, if you think it's all in somebody's head, you're probably high. There's something wrong with your faculties if you think it's all in anybody's head.
All right, so be it.
I'm in the, not Amber, what's her name?
You're talking Carrie with a K?
Yes, I'm Carrie with a K club. That's stupid.
Yeah,
You're
so
having a
she
senior
has
moment.
Melanie has a few different conversations. One is a conversation she's had similarly before with Sid.
Yes.
Where she's basically, again, she's lamenting our loved ones. We happen to be, David and Oliver are these hero types who have to go off to save the world, and who are we to stop them because they have destiny calling them, but on the other hand, they leave us, and we're second fiddle. And brings out the tea kettle again, which, by the way, I think it was Bev mentioned in the comments. I asked last week, what was that tea kettle thing? And she brought it back up. It was a Sid thing. Sid would wait, hold her breath during David's absence until the tea kettle would go off. That's another thing. So that's a callback to that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Sid and in fact, it's Sid who takes the tea kettle off.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to go now and do the thing. So there's that conversation, but then there's also, Melanie has a conversation with Carrie with a K. Basically, everyone in D3 and probably everyone in the audience wants Melanie to get back to work. Hey, Melanie, you think you're ready to come back to work now? And she's not. And so this is what Carrie approaches her, like, hey, because Sid also says, Admiral Fukuyama was wondering if maybe you're ready to come back to work. so Carrie has this conversation, and in that conversation, Melanie says, hey, you know what? Maybe you are a delusion of Carrie with a C. Yeah. He just wants to be a young, sensual woman, and that's what you are. Or maybe you are the real one, and you have made a delusion of Carrie with a C. That's what you wanted, your fantasy. And Carrie with the K's have none of it.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's,
She's like, when I hit things, they fall down.
In her defense, yes, she has difficult with other concepts like phrases. Yeah.
Which I'd like to go, we'll talk about that. Well, what the hell, we'll talk about it right now. All right, so, yeah, there's a bit where, and it's a non-Melanie part in this. It was actually pushing the plot a little forward, but it's Carrie with a C and Carrie with a K are kind of out of D3 in that Carrie with a C realizes, oh, David implanted a memory in my brain. I got to follow this through. We have to steal this weapon, then take a car that's a very specific car. Oh, look, there's a specific car. Let's go drive it. And then we have to take it to this place called the Electric Octopus. Bang, we're there. So they're at a diner, they're talking, having a little conversation. And during that conversation, Carrie with a C is bringing up expressions like he says, "Oh, Melanie, I wish she'd come back to work. She's so blue." Carrie
blue?
with a K doesn't understand what that means. And then he says something like, it's an expression like too much time on your hands.
Yeah.
And Carrie's like, huh? Okay. I get the notion that because she is not being exposed to the outside world so much,
right,
that maybe certain things would hit her as odd. But she doesn't talk like a toddler.
No.
She's not like, how about that? Like the fact that she's like, too much time in your hands, and she's staring at her hands, is a little weird.
Yeah.
It was a little like, wait, how old are you?
Right.
Because anyway, they maybe made her too naive in that moment. But I get where they're going with it. I thought maybe they just overplayed their hand on it a little bit. I like the notion that she's not as with it on modern colloquialisms.
I guess. I mean,
even at the idea of like being able to interpret what that might mean. Like she's got a brain, and she could be like, "Oh, I haven't heard that before, but I think I understand." You know what I mean? Like instead of, "You mean my hands have clocks in them?" All right, anyway, so yes, Melanie is. She's been depressed. I think one of the things that's tricky about this, it's difficult to watch, partially because it's exhausting to watch her be depressed.
Yes.
And so there's that. But there's also this notion that we didn't see her devolve into depression. Like last season, she was mildly depressed, but not this level.
No, definitely not.
Right? And so she gets Oliver back, then he immediately gets taken over by Farook and leaves, which could easily lead to a depression. I get that.
Sure.
But we didn't see that. We cut to years later, she's already depressed. We didn't see, I'm not saying more of this, but I mean, it might help if we saw that character arc instead of just,
I don't think
I'm
so.
horribly depressed.
I don't think so. I just think it's a difficult choice. It's like making a character depressed if the only reason why that person's depressed is because they're going to do something to hinder the plot or be an obstruction. I think it's just a difficult position to put a character in. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like we have to find a way to do it. What can we do to this character to get to them so that they're like,
that
okay.
they're working against their self-interest and the interest of the group.
I mean, I don't think the show's doing a very good job of bringing other characters to the fore. I mean, obviously David is the center of the show, and
he was not in this episode,
right? And Sydney, is you could definitely say they spent some on her, but I don't think they're just doing a good job of that.
This did seem to be a this is everybody else episode.
Yeah.
But then they kind of
and maybe that's not really what they want to do, is give a lot of backstory or whatever, but I don't know. I want to feel connected to the people and what they're doing. And
so Melanie has these conversations. She's visited by Oliver / Farook in her dreams, her drug-induced haze, and she is at first she is the person you were talking about. She's suspects something's wrong, has a gun on him.
Yes.
Hey, you're Farook.
Yep.
Basically. But he convinces her, nope, it's Oliver, and still love you, and look at yourself in the mirror. And he shows her the youthful version of herself.
Yes.
And she basically, at that point, goes to his side.
Yeah.
And what's actually really, I did like this bit. They show her the young version of Melanie
at the pool?
At Farook's pool. She's taken the place of Lenny, basically.
Interesting.
So she's now in Farook's holding cell, basically.
Yeah,
and she's even talking to Farook, and I think she doesn't even realize it's Farook so much. I think she thinks she's talking to Oliver. Because she's talking to him, and then she looks across the pool, and she sees Oliver. And when she looks back, she's her older self again. Like, what the? And then she wakes up.
Interesting.
So I think she was like, yeah. So she's telling the secrets. Farook is obviously she's like, where's that monk? You remember the monk? He's important. She's like, I remember the monk. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, yep, she's helping him out. So that was cool. I did like that. That was, I think, maybe one of the few appearances of Farook in the episode too, in the place of Oliver anyway. So that and then, obviously, this episode ends where it begins.
Yes.
So it begins with what was the end of last episode, which is the Melanie knocking out Clark.
Yeah.
It starts with her doing that again. We see it again, and it says 13 days earlier. Then it comes back up to her knocking out Clark, and that's the end. Which is kind of what it did a couple episodes ago, where Lenny comes back to life, but at Amy's expense.
Right.
We see the result of that, David breaking down. Then the next episode was David's alternate dimensions, and it ends with David breaking down again. So they've kind of used that trick twice in a very short period of time. It feels like the momentum of the show keeps like going, whoop, one step forward, two steps back, like but yeah, and so this quest to find Farouk's body is get on with it, find it already. So the other, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just hope it really pays off. I mean,
yeah. Now they added an extra episode, so there are 11. This was theoretically going to be the next to last episode. I don't know if they added an episode at the end or if they already knew it. They blocked it out and were like, "No, it's 11 episodes."
Interesting.
But it just didn't feel like this was leading to that big plan necessarily. We do get Lenny, who has now got her newfound freedom, and she is kind of ticking off the boxes of David's plan. While she goes back to her life of debauchery, right? So she's like, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and we see her making out with folks, and she's kind of trying to step back into her old life. And they're like, "Oh, Lenny, you're that. Oh, yeah, you were the superstar druggy person, whatever." So, but she's being haunted by Amy.
Right.
I think I'm not sure. It's difficult to tell. It's one of those things. Is it all in her head? I assume Amy's there, but she basically, there's one part where she does a mantra where she's like, "Are you a good person? Are you a good person? Are you a good person? Are you a good person?" The big info we learned, maybe the biggest reveal, assuming it's true, of this episode was that apparently Lenny is in love with David. Or Lenny/Amy, because she has part of Amy's personality, maybe that part of her is in. But you get the feeling that Lenny has feelings for David, just even as Lenny, is what the implication is. Amy, the ghost of Amy, is like, "You love him." And you're like, "Yep, okay, fine." Because she also is jealous of Sid, and that's what would be an interesting dynamic. I mean, we've had the love triangle of future Sid, and David. Well, now you have a love quadrangle, perhaps, with the future Sid, Lenny, and David. I don't know. I mean, I don't think David.
I bet you're gonna bring his sister into it somehow.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. She obviously has not. She mentions Sid and kind of has a little snarl on her face, like,
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're trying to set us up for something, I guess. I mean, sorry, I don't feel, especially, I'm not confident of where it's going. So, the whole thing about now that she's in love is feeling like they're trying to set us up for something.
That she's going to sacrifice herself, maybe for love or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, right, because, she's definitely like, "Oh, I want to help him? Okay, I'll help him." It's like, okay, fine.
So
I don't know when she goes to get the gun, but she's doing it by getting the car, and the car just disappears.
Oh, the car disappears because it's all in their heads. Drink, okay. The car literally teleports.
Wow, if he's that powerful.
Yeah, what the heck? Why did he even come up with this really convoluted plan if he can just go, "By the way, I want you, 10 days from now, I want you to go find a car outside a bar. When you get in it, I'm going to have it teleport to the spot you need. And then you just get out.
Make sure to put the gun
in the trunk so that it doesn't burn up." Like, wow. But yes, that does happen.
Yeah, maybe it's merely some sort of, maybe it's an illusion.
Well, there's a sense that this realm they're in, the La Desolée, where the it seems to be not someplace you could just sail to or whatever. I'm going to drive to Utah. You can't get there from here, so you have to get there in some odd way.
Yeah. So maybe, I mean...
And we do see that Carrie with a C had put a tracker on the weapon, so that's how they're going to get there. It's like, we're going to track this thing to the spot, so the two Carries can now arrive at the spot they need to be at. But yeah, the car's on fire. She remembers kind of just with enough time to get the weapon that's in it. I assume it's the gun that we see her using later. But maybe. I don't know what's in that.
I don't know, yeah.
So a weapon is in a tackle box.
Right.
She pulls it out. The car is basically burns up. She sees a bunch of monks, maybe? People with baskets on their heads? More basket head people. She asks them like where the temple is, and they point. Something like that. And so she sets off. So Lenny is progressing to the spot she needs to be to carry out her part of the plan. We can assume that Carrie with a C and Carrie with a K, because they put a tracker on this thing, are also on their way to fulfilling their part of the plan. Clark is knocked out, not really going on his way to do his part of the plan yet. Sid is with David, if you remember from last episode, so she's already in La Desolée, so theoretically she could be part of the plan because she's already there.
Right.
So yes, that's kind of the state of like, this was just halting the momentum to take a look at, as you say, give rationale for why Melanie has betrayed them. This was interesting too because she's talking theoretically to Oliver, but Oliver's in her head, so she's just talking to herself. Kind of reminded me a little bit of David.
Yeah, that was interesting how they contrasted her conversation with no one who was there with apparently what's going on with Oliver at the time, or I guess Farook and Oliver's body, which he's not talking to her, he's just doing what he's doing. So they're really trying to, apparently, it seems like they're setting it up anyway, that this is something that is being generated by her, I would assume.
In what way?
So, I mean, if I'm the person who's making it happen, she's not having a conversation with me. I'm not saying anything. She's talking to me, and I'm not the one, I mean, the conversation makes it seem like it's going on in her head. Maybe he's giving her like, okay, here, you're going to do this action, or you're going to help me.
Right, she says something like, what do you need? What does he need?
Right.
And she says, why does it always have to end in violence? We can assume that the thing that Farook needed her to do was knock out Clark.
Right.
And so she's questioning, like, well, do I have to go? Why does it always have to be violent?
Right.
But so you're saying that maybe she's not getting information from the other side.
I mean, maybe it's just like, okay, we've messed you up enough, and you know what to do. And in order to do that, she's, sort of created this sort of connection where, they're connected enough to get her to do it. But, I feel like she's just, reinforcing.
My interpretation of that moment was that she literally was hearing another voice, and she was responding to it.
Maybe it's that. But, I mean, it just seemed interesting that I would have thought they would have Oliver be having a conversation with her.
But to support your idea, there is the conversation she has with Sid when she's doing the whole like, oh, the heroes, they always leave us forever, and then the teapot goes off, and Sid takes the teapot off.
Yeah.
Sid then disappears, and she's still on the floor talking.
Yeah.
And so you're like, does that mean she was never there? You were remembering the conversation you had with Sid from earlier and you were just repeating it? Or is this a conversation you just have over and over again, no matter who's in the room? Or I didn't, so she is questioning the nature of reality.
Yeah, she is.
This show does that all the time. Yes. And it's just interesting to have somebody literally say it. It's like, oh, God, oh, man.
I think it's Liam.
So yeah, whew. So I don't know. This wasn't my favorite episode.
No.
It did feel slow, but
and I feel like it's possible. I guess they can pull it out the rest of the season, but
2 episodes left.
We'll see.
They're gonna find Farook's body. Damn it.
I mean, yeah.
What if they did this? What if they get to episode 11 and they're about to find the body and they're like, that's our cliffhanger for season 3. We didn't quite get there, but stay tuned. Hopefully they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That would be very disappointing.
Yeah.
They won't do that. I'm going to say now they're not doing it.
Oh, okay.
They've got 2 hours to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Any other parting thoughts
No.
on that? Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing this wrap up. I do feel like they were trying to pace themselves for this extra 11th episode. They've done that now, and I think things are in motion.
All right.
And we're not gonna. Oh, here was a good thing. Here's a good thing about this episode.
Oh.
No parables. Woo! They listened to me. I'm sure they went back and re-edited with the 1 week there. Oh my God! Matt said he didn't really think that the parables were particularly relevant. Okay, take that out. Edit it out.
What else did he talk about? Oh, he said we haven't seen Melanie in a while.
All right, put Melanie in there. More Melanie. I got this. We got a lot of footage of her with the smoking elephant. Just circle that back in. Damn it! All right. Anyway, so I was one and one. I got the parables, but also more Melanies. So anyway, we will be back next time. We're also going to be talking Westworld, which is now also moving toward its conclusion.
Yes.
And on the horizon, I was trying to see what because we're coming to the end of these two shows. If you've got an idea, please put it in the comments for what show we should talk about.
Sure.
But I do see that in Netflix, I believe it's June 22nd.
Oh yeah.
Luke Cage season 2 comes out. So we will probably be chatting about Luke Cage season 2 in the near future.
Yes.
So there you go. All right, everybody. Bye now.